Hi guys, so first off, it is such a long time since I last came back to read theory. So now it's another video about read theory. I think that my reading comprehension is pretty much diminished because I haven't actually practiced it, and the more you forget about any skill, the more chances are that that skill will be mitigated after a very long time of not using it. So yeah, let's see. Examine and evaluate my reading comprehension after like 2 weeks of not doing read theory. Okay, so let's get started. The Electoral College. Okay, so first off, I have no idea, absolutely no clue what this is about, and we have to read the text in order to answer the following questions. As you can see on the right side of the screen, we have some questions in order to test your reading comprehension skill, and normally I just read out loud in order to both improve my reading comprehension and my pronunciation skill. That is the way I've learned. Like whenever you read something, just try to read out loud. This way will enhance significantly your listening and your speaking comprehension, because you have to pronounce the word clearly as you're reading it. So yeah, just try this technique. I bet that it works for everyone. The Electoral College. The Electoral College was created by the framers of the United States Constitution as the result of a compromise for the presidential election process. During the debate, some delegates felt that a direct popular election was reckless, as it might lead to the election of each state's favorite son, and no one would emerge with sufficient popular majority to govern the country. Other delegates felt that giving Congress the power to select the president would deny the people the right to choose. After all, the people voted for their representatives to the federal legislature. Shouldn't they also choose the president? The compromise was set up in an electoral college system that allowed voters to vote for electors, who then cast their votes for candidates, a system described in Article 2, Section 1 of the Constitution. So after reading the first passage, I would try to see whether or not the question is relevant to the passage I've just read. If it's not, then I would continue reading. Based on the information in the passage, it can be referred that Electoral College is a... So this information is mentioned in the first paragraph, where the authors clarify what Electoral College system is for. It is for voters to vote for the electors, who then cast their votes for candidates, a system described in Article 2, Section 1 of the Constitution. Let's see. Let's see A. I think it's A, actually. Oh, it's not? It is a system of electing a president. Oh, yes. I was tricked a little bit because I don't really pay attention to the previous information. I just kept focused on the sentence, allow voters to vote for the electors. Yeah, that's true. Okay, the other tone can be described as... Okay, so we have to continue reading because the tone is spreading throughout the whole passage, so we have to figure out after reading the final sentence of this passage. So let's continue. Though some find the Electoral College confusing, the process is relatively straightforward. Each state is allocated a number of electors equal to the number of U.S. senators, always 2, plus the number of its U.S. representatives, which may change each decade according to the size of each state's population as determined in the census. The party slate that wins the most popular votes in the state determines electors, so that in effect, the presidential ticket that gets the most popular votes in a state wins all the electors of the state. However, there have been times when electors have voted contrary to the people's decision, which is entirely legal. On the Monday following the second Wednesday in December, the electors of each state meet the representative state capitals to officially cast their votes for president and vice president. These votes are then sealed and sent to the president of the Senate, who on January 6 opens and reads the vote in the presence of both houses of Congress. The winner is sworn into the office at noon on January 20th. Though the system has been in effect for centuries, a familiar debate has started against as to whether the US Constitution should be amended in order to change this controversial mechanism of the presidential election process. Some promote eliminating the Electoral College in favor of a direct popular vote for president, while others believe that Electoral College should remain in existence. Just as compromise solved this initial problem of the framers, so it is that compromise can solve this problem. One solution is to change the electoral vote to electoral points and reward each candidate a percentage of points based on the percentage of popular votes received in each state. This would eliminate the winner-take-all system that allows all the votes to count for one candidate. Voters could be more apt to believe that votes counted if a percentage of popular votes were taken into account, rather than all-of-nothing system currently in existence. Furthermore, this new system would integrate the desire for a popular vote for president with the tradition of having the individual states determine who actually gets elected. Let's see. I think it is reasonable because, yeah, I think this is reasonable. As used in paragraph 1, the term favorite son refers to an individual who, let's see, we have to put this word into context. Because if you don't put it into context and you just read it literally, it would mean that someone favorite son, right? It just doesn't make sense in this case because we don't mention anything about family, about favorite son of anyone, so we have to put this into context. This is a very fundamental concept of reading comprehension. It is to put the vocabulary into the reading passage in order to clarify the meaning of it, because a word has tons of meanings, and if you don't make sense of it right from the context, it will be really challenging later on. So yeah. Favorite son. Oh, I understand now. Favorite president. Yeah. I think it is D. Wait, it's not D? Has local but not necessarily national appeal. Okay. Like, I respect that. Might be a different person for each state, meaning no candidate will win a majority in the national election. Oh yes, I understand now. In the final paragraph, the other outlines a potential compromise to the Electoral College controversy. In doing so, the other makes the assumption that most people Yeah, A. The others believes that Electoral College dilemma can be solved by discarding the current all or nothing system, ascribing a point system to electors. What exactly is ascribe? This is a new word for me, to be honest. So ascribe means to attribute someone to a cause, reflecting the popular vote through compromise. I think it's, wait, is it one only, or yeah, I think it's 1, 2, and 3. Oh my god. Okay, I didn't pass the test anyway, so I think that's fine. Like, yeah. Alright, so thank you so much for watching this. My reading comprehension definitely has dropped because I don't practice it on a daily basis. Now I have to be more careful about this or else. Thank you so much for watching this, and I think I will just do this next one because now I'm in the mood for practicing this, so why not? Today we're gonna learn about revenge strategy. So first, look at this picture and tell me, what does it trigger? Like, what does it remind you of? I think it reminds you of the past or the Renaissance. Wait, the Renaissance. Let me check the pronunciation. Actually, I forgot it.
Renaissance.
Renaissance, yeah, like the period of the cutting edge inventions of a lot of things, art, and the development of artistic and political area. I think Leonardo da Vinci is one of the most popular person and artists of that time, and she kind of like he kind of like made predictions ahead of time. She was considered the first person to even think of the plane when she was in the 15th century, and the plane was actually invented in the 19th century or the 20th century. So it was a shock to me to figure that out. So yeah, figure that out. Revenge strategy. Whether you are aware of it as such or not, you have likely read an Elizabeth strategy before. This is because the most noted playwright of all time wrote his finest strategies during the reign of Elizabeth I, and most anyone who has taken an English class likely read Romeo and Juliet or Macbeth. And while these Shakespearean strategies are the most read today, during the latter days of the reign of Elizabeth and all of the reign of James I, known as the Japocan era, the most popular form of strategy was the revenge strategy. The revenge strategy, like all strategy theater, has its origins in the ancient world, notably through the works of the Roman playwright Seneca the Younger. Seneca's plays outline the genre's conventions, which almost always include a secret murder, a ghost of the murder victim, some form of disguise, a descent into madness, an avalanche of violence, and finally a number of deaths, including that of the vengeful. William Shakespeare Hamlet actually followed this model to the letter. Claudius murders King Hamlet, who, as a spectre, visits his son, who then spends the play secretly eavesdropping on Claudius. The play is the thing. Wherein Alcash the conscience of the king, with feigning perhaps mental illness, until the end where, spoiler alert, everyone dies. While Hamlet is the most accessible revenge play today, the genre was largely brought to England via an earlier work, Thomas Kind's The Spanish Strategy. Kind's play was very popular in London during the 1590s and spawned several imitators, as well as much mockery from Shakespeare and Ben Jonson. These imitators included John Webster, whose The White Devil from 1612 uses the revenge play as a form to ridicule the government of King James I, and either Cyril Tourneur or Thomas Middleton, whose The Revenger Strategy, historians are not sure which man actually authored the play, is arguably the best purely Jacobin strategy. This is an important distinction because revenge stories became popular again in a century and a half later, though typically those revenge stories were not tragic and usually did not involve the characteristic elements of the genre outlined here. Thus, not all revengers are equal in literature. Oh, such an interesting text. I'm kind of really surprised that this even existed. The revenge strategy, if you pay enough notice, you'll actually pay attention to that. As mentioned in paragraph 1, Romeo and Juliet and Macbeth are best understood to be examples of all the following except plays written by Shakespeare. Do you sure about that? Are you sure about that? Oh yeah, Elizabethan strategies. Is it non-revenge strategies? No. Yeah, I think it is Elizabethan strategies. No, not exactly. But the work of Seneca. Wait, who is Seneca? Strategy with the work. Okay, so I don't understand who is. Seneca. I don't understand which part the others mentioned about Seneca, which I think is not true. As to its imperative to the word avalanche most nearly means. So most of the time, like not always, but usually avalanche would mean a kind of natural disaster where slow snow slide and snowball just sleeping from a slope. So that's the meaning of it. But in this case, it doesn't necessarily mean avalanche. I mean, um, let me see. It might be A because I am considering it might relate into something violent and vengeful. So that's my first guess. But let's see. Here, a sudden arrival or occurrence of something in overwhelming quantities. So as you can see, let's see what exactly is vengeance. Maybe I guess I don't know. Punishment inflicted or retribution exacted for an injury or wrong. No, I think it is actually a barrage, a bombardment. Yeah, that makes sense here. Wait, let actually. Oh wait, so I am considering between A and D because both of that makes sense, but let's say that we just choose D because it has something to do with bombardment, which I think is the synonym with the overwhelmed quantity of something. Yeah. In the author's description of the plot of Hamlet, here she uses parenthetical comments too. Like this, parenthetical is the punctuation. I would highlight this here, like the whole sentence, the place, the thing, wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king, is inside the parenthetical. This is the visualization of it. Cite a piece of evidence from the play. Call an interpretation of the play into doubt. I think it's one. Is it one and two, or maybe one only? Yeah, I think it's one only. Wait, one, two, and three again? Why? Okay, let's see. The other describes the basic plot of Hamlet at the end of the second paragraph, and he or she makes three parenthetical comments. Wait. Okay. I think that we just need to consider only one sentence, and that's why I chose only the one option. Like, I think that we just need to answer this question regarding only one sentence into the parenthetical, but I don't know that all three of them, like, yeah. The first references a quotation from the play as evidence that Hamlet secretly eavesdrops. This supports option number one. The second parenthetical comment suggests doubt. The other states that Hamlet reigned perhaps meant to Eunice, implying that the other is not certain about Hamlet does fake Eunice. This supports option two. Well, it's obvious. The final parenthetical comment makes a joke about the play's ending. In putting spoiler alert in parentheses, the author implies that the play's ending is really not being spoiled for the reader because it is obvious and predictable. This supports option 3. Yeah. The passage implies that all the following playwrights wrote revenge plays except William Shakespeare. Yeah, one of his famous playwright called, like the previous one, we've just dived deeper. What is the name of it? I forgot. Hamlet. Yeah, Hamlet. Thomas Kind, Well, is there any mention of Thomas Kind, or maybe I don't notice it enough? I normally just forgot the smallest and tiniest details of each paragraph, so yeah, Ilse the Revenge. So Thomas Kind is also one of the others that uses revenge as one of his playwrights. So A and B are eliminated. We have Seneca the Younger. I don't see any mention of hers or him in here, to be honest. John Webster. Thomas Meritown. Why, like, okay, we have here the revenge strategy, like old tragic theater, has its origins in the ancient world, notably through the works of the Roman playwright Seneca the Younger. Yeah, so Seneca the Younger also have play part in this, so yeah, she was also eliminated. What about the others? I don't see any of them, like John Webster or Ben Jonson here. Oh, we have John Webster here. I think it is Ben Jonson. Yeah. Which of the following provides the correct other for the given work? Seneca the Younger, the Spanish strategy. I guess not. Base attention to any italic phrases because that is a key word here. Seneca the Younger, the Spanish strategy. Thomas Kind, the White Devil. It is of John Webster, so it's not true. Macbeth. Yes, right? Macbeth. Based on the information in the passage, which of the following can be assumed to be true about the Spanish strategy? So we have to pay the visible attention to this play, which is the Spanish strategy. Let me find that detail. Which paragraph mentioned this? Here, Thomas Kind, the Spanish strategy. Kind's play was very popular in London during the 1590s and spawned several imitators, as well as much mockery from Shakespeare and Ben Jonson. These imitators included John Webster, is not likely to. It was not liked. All playwrights in England. It does not contain that. Okay, I did pass a test to be honest, but I felt extremely frustrated at the wrong question because I think that we just need to answer only one sentence. But yeah, but anyway, so thank you so much for watching this. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!